I know also you said something very fascinating that although you love associating with the people that you work with, in terms of the talent, you feel that it's better that you don't know them as sort of the people that they are in their real lives.
Right. One of the reasons why, especially if you're doing story and you're mostly working in post, what I have to work with and what I can present to you is the image of a person as it has come through the lens onto a tape and has been presented to me. If I get to know you and I hang out with you, or we're friends, or we get buddied up, there are a couple of things that can go wrong. One is I can start to get a perception of you based on actually interacting with you that may be contrary to what's coming through the lens, where you're putting on a bit of a show for me, as you do sometimes when you meet people and you want to be nice and fun and impressive because that person is important to the process or whatever. If you're trying to be on your best behavior with me and then I see you behaving strangely on camera, it throws me off. That I don't know how to present you authentically, and I start thinking that I'm missing something, or there's something that should be there that isn't, and I just feel weird about it. So to keep that little bit of a wall up, there are field teams and field crews and producers who work specifically with the talent that if there's something that I need, I'll just drop them an email and say, can you ask them if they would do this or that or the other, or how do they feel about this? And that way I get to be kind of the distant, sometimes the bad guy. You know, and they can, and the field has someone to blame it on and say, listen, you know, they really want this in post. I know you don't want to do it, but they need it to be able to tell this story. I don't mind being put in that position because it's in better service of the story to have that person think, you know, that I'm the bad guy who wants them to do X, Y, or Z, than for me to have an interaction with them where they have my phone number or they can drop me an email directly and say, listen, I have a question about this. I will tell you, I worked on a show once where the show was airing while we were still finishing the final episodes. It was a very compressed schedule. One of the stars of that show, I ran into them at a grocery store. And the guy basically says to me, hey, you're making me look like an asshole. And I basically told him, it's because I can't use footage of you sleeping. It's just you're constantly grading on everyone. I have to use what it is that I have. It's that thing where they think that somehow how you process that is how you're painting them. When in fact, all you're really doing, if you're a competent story person, is eliminating the seams and trying to show that person in the state that they were in when they were being filmed. You know, and that means, warts and all, you're going to be who you were during the period of time that you were being shot.
I.e. a heightened version of yourself.
Exactly. Well, it's a distillation. It's like I talk about it like concentrated orange juice. Is if I only do 3 big things over the course of a month, and then you see all of them happen in a half-hour span, it looks like I'm really this person or that person or the other, because that's what is happening that's story related. The stuff where you're sleeping or you're calling your mom just to say hi and it has nothing to do with the show, that's not of use to me. I can't use it to tell a story. So people just have to get used to the idea that there is a heightened reality version of themselves that comes from that distillation. And that's where you get people who get very upset, because if they're naturally antagonistic, they're going to look really antagonistic in the end. All reality TV can make you look like is more of what you already are. I can't take a great person and make them look like a terrible person. I can't take a terrible person and make them look like a great person. And that's paraphrasing J.D. Roth, who had said that originally, is you can't make a person more of something. And I've always remembered hearing that statement. It was about almost 10 years ago now that he was interviewed for something. And it really stuck with me.
So when that happened, was that around the time when you realized, okay, it's probably a good idea to remove myself?
Yeah,
for various reasons.
I just think that giving yourself a little bit of distance between yourself and your subject prevents them from feeling like they have some sort of retroactive input into, some action that they took. It's not in my interest to ever make a person look bad. You should never look like, I don't throw people under the bus. I don't create a situation that didn't happen. It's been known to happen in reality shows where they paint an inaccurate picture or they ask for interview content where benign footage suddenly looks like it's a really damning indictment of you based on what someone else is saying about you over the footage. I don't like to see those things happen. I think that anybody who is nice enough to want to play ball and be part of a reality show should be treated with respect as a person who is participating in your program. But bad things can happen.
Sure.
I'm not going to actively seek you out. There's nothing that I benefit from by making you look bad.